This is the ULTIMEA Poseidon E40. No, it is not the rapper, but it has some great features for people who want to be able to take the big screen on the go. This front firing projector has a native resolution of 1920 by 1080 and a contrast ratio of 2001. It has a 5-layer coated optical lens, but there's some more great features that I'm going to show you on this video to see if it's the right one for you. And before we get this video started, I want to give you a full disclosure that ULTIMEA sent me over this projector to give my honest opinion about what I think. And there's a 5.1.2 audio system that we'll go over a little bit later in the video. So there's something for everyone. Let's get started. Now the Poseidon 40 can do up to 120 inches, but we're just using a blank wall here in the studio. But one of the things that really impressed me as I move this forward, it has sensors in front of it that's going to look at the image and it's going to line it and clean up the sharpness, so you're going to get the best picture quality every single time. To set it up is pretty easy, and I'll walk through some of the basic features here, but just to give you a highlight, you're going to need to have Wi-Fi and you're going to need to have a Google account to log into the Android store if you plan on downloading applications. Otherwise, you can use it as a standalone device. Next, you need to pair up the Bluetooth just by pressing the home and the back button together, and basically that's going to pair the Bluetooth remote. And you need to do this in order to get the voice commands to work if you plan on using the Android portion of the projector. And one thing I was very impressed with is the performance on this Poseidon E40. Now, one of the big things that I was looking for is, since it is a front firing projector, is the contrast ratio. And here's some demos so you can take a look at it for yourself. I want to say that this projector is not 4K, but for someone who likes the native 1080p signal and great upscaling, I think you're going to be happy with a projector like this. Most people don't do this, but I just want to test out a few last things as far as the motion. And keep in mind, this projector doesn't have any kind of controls on it, so it's going to be very important to see how smooth it is on its own. This is a 24 frames per second test, and the top line is very smooth, but you can notice on the second line, we're going to get a little bit of judder. But keep in mind, watching content like sports, it's going to be a lot smoother. Again, this is 24 frames per second. And this is an example of what it's going to look like if you was just watching your everyday sports. And to me, the grass is pretty green. Everything looks very nice, and as you can see there, the white levels are great and the motion is pretty smooth. And here's another example. You can see the greens pop. Now I do have a little bit of light in this room, and projectors generally work their best whenever it's in a dark room, but I think you'll be just fine with a little bit of ambient light. And here's a skin tone test so you can get an idea of what it looks like, and it's pretty natural. But let's turn off the lights to see if we can get a little bit better look at the image. And as you can see with the lights off, it definitely makes a huge difference, and it has different color modes. So if we go into the image, we can make it lighter. As you can see, it gets much brighter. We have soft, there's a game, and there's a personal in here. And under the personal, you can adjust everything to your liking as far as the brightness, contrast, saturation. And here's some of the color temperatures. So as you can see on standard, it's going to have more of that white look, and then you have the warm look. It's going to give you that ambient mode. And again, you can go in here and customize the temperature so you can find something to your likings. And also I want to show you a quick example of what it looks like on a dark screen. So I pulled up Batman. And as you can see, the black levels are good and the colors are great. So again, for movie watching, it's going to be a great experience for that as well, as long as you have it in the dark. Now we're going to take a closer look at this Poseidon 40. And as you notice here, it does have a handle on here, and it's to make it easy to carry around, but it doesn't have batteries built in, so you will need to plug it in. This projector has 1000 ANSI Lumens, which is not the brightest out there, but I know in a dark room, it looked pretty good. There's also some sensors on here, as I was showing you earlier, where it automatically adjusts itself. And there's a fan at the bottom, and it is pretty quiet. I didn't really hear it start. On the side here, we have a speaker and another speaker over here. But check this out. On the back side of it, we have a passive radius, and that gives it a little bit more bass response. You have your power cord input, USB, and HDMI, as well as a headphone jack. And on the bottom of it has these little rubberized feet and this screw hole. And the screw hole is great for mounting it on tripods to make it very easy to adjust your height, especially if you're going portable. And here's an example how I screwed it onto this basic tripod to film this video. Look at that. So it has the basic features that the average person would need to connect a DVD player or anything like that if you want to take it on the go to a friend's house and have a larger experience. In the box, you're going to get an HDMI cable, a power brick, and you get the remote control. And of course, it does come with a user's manual. And here's a closer look at the remote control that comes with this Poseidon 40. On the top of it, you have your power button, as well as a source button, your Google voice commands, as well as your navigation key volume, and some hotkeys at the bottom, so it's very functional for your average person. And earlier I showed you where it can adjust itself automatically, but if you decide to get a projector screen on it, you will need to do some manual adjustments, just so you know. Next, I'll show you some basic gaming on it, but keep in mind that if you have a projector, that you're going to need a longer HDMI cable. I'm using 25-foot HDMI cables just to do a test for you. And with the one input, you might have to get a selector, or you have to unplug one and plug the other one in when you want to use it. Now the projector is powered by Android 11, which you have access to all your different applications. Now since it doesn't have a TV tuner in it, you can always use this Google TV function on Wi-Fi, and this allows you to watch some type of content whenever you don't have any type of device plugged into it. And with Google Play Store, you'll have access to all the major applications that you can find on a smart television. But just like any Google TV, make sure you do all the updates on the built-in software so you get the latest version and get the best experience. The last few things I want to show you about this projector is that you can go into display and sounds, and under here you can see the screen resolution, and as you can see, it's down converting 4K resolution to give you that 10-bit picture quality, and you can set it up to automatic, or you can turn it off and manually adjust it. As far as storage, you're looking at 13 gigabytes of internal memory. You have the built-in voice command for Google commands, as well as Chromecast. And it has the Google screensaver built right in, so when you're not using the projector and you leave it in standby mode, this will appear, so you always have a screen playing. In my opinion, overall, this is a great projector for the average consumer. It is 1080p, but the fact that it can handle that 4K signal and give you 10-bit resolution, the picture quality is fantastic. I did find the Android 11 operating system to be laggy at times, but it wasn't anything that was a deal breaker to me. So if you like Google, then you probably already experienced what you're going to get out of a television, but the projector is going to give you a similar experience. And one of the features that I really liked is the automatic picture adjustment. So it pretty much lined itself no matter where I put it in the room. But keep in mind, if you want to get an 80-inch screen, you need to move it back 7.12 feet. In order to get a 120-inch screen, you need to move the projector 10.66 feet back according to where you're sitting. Now I would say that projectors in general are not for everyone, but if you're looking for, again, that bigger screen that you can move around with you, this definitely is one that you might want to consider. Now I'm going to show you a brief introduction of the Nova S80 audio system. It consists of 5 channels, which is your surround sounds, 1 channel for a subwoofer, and 2 upfiring on the center channel to give you more of a Dolby Atmos sound. In the box, it comes with a center channel that you need to put together, 2 rear speakers, some cabling including HDMI cable, a subwoofer, as well as a remote control and an instruction book. Here's the center channel that comes with it, and it does pick up a little bit of fingerprints, but there's 3 drivers on the front of it, and there's 2 more top firing speakers to give you a better surround sound. The center channel comes in 2 different pieces. So you would slide these together, and then you put this jumper over here to make sure that the audio goes to both sides. On the back of it, there's a screw hole for mounting on the wall, as well as an auxiliary fiber optic input. There's an e-arc and a HDMI pass-through, as well as a USB and the power input. So here's a rear speaker. It's really small and compact, has some rubberized feet on the bottom, and inside of here, there's a 3-inch driver and a bass port. On the back of it, there's some built-in mounts, plus there's a connection right here that goes over to the subwoofer to power it up. And here's a closer look at the subwoofer. On the side of it, there's an 8-inch driver, and you can find a bass port here on the front of it. And on the back of it, that's where you're going to hook up your rear speakers. You're going to be able to pair it to the main system, and you have a power cord input. And it comes with all the wires you need to connect it, like a HDMI cable, power cord, as well as the wires that goes over to your center channel, plus some additional mounts here in the box. And here's the remote control that comes with it, which has all your inputs. You even have a Dolby Atmos button, plus you have some surround sound settings and a mute button at the bottom. Another thing you're gonna find on the front of it, you have this nice display so you can see the status of the soundbar. So if we choose the inputs, you can see that it will change, showing us what the status is. As far as the EQ, you have movie mode, you have dialogue, and you have music modes. So you have a couple of settings already preset inside of the unit. And you have that Dolby Atmos button where you can increase the volume right there on the front. Another thing I like is that it does have different volumes for your surround sound speakers and your bass response right there on the front of it. Now I did some demos, and I will tell you that compared to TV speakers or even the projector that comes with the Poseidon 40, this sounds amazing in comparison. Now keep in mind that I'm using Bluetooth because the projector is going to be farther away in the back of the room. But I will tell you, if you want to get the best sound quality on the television, then you want to use HDMI eARC because that unlocks the full Dolby Atmos potential. In my opinion, both of these are great products, especially for the value. And before I started filming this video, I went to Amazon to check out both units and their ranking between a 4.5 and 5 stars. So other people are liking these products. Now, if you're interested, please use my links down below in the description, and you can go check out other people's reviews as well as see if it's the right product for you. But for now, I'm Tech Steve. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.